Good evening, welcome to the highlights of the first day's play of the Test series between Australia and India. This one starting at the Adelaide Oval in just about perfect conditions. Temperature around about 24 degrees and the outfield and the pitch look pretty good. The team cards, well, there are surprises there. Jeff Marsh is in the side, Merv Hughes is in, and Bruce Reid has been flown in from Perth to take the place of Dave Gilbert, who missed out in a fitness trial just before the start of play. And Rob Kerr is 12th man. For India, even more surprises there. Shiva Ramakrishnan has been made 12th man. The pace bowling attack will be Kapil Dev, Binny and Chetan Sharma, and they have two finger spinners, Ravi Shastri and Shivlal Yadav. Now, the pitch, according to Tony Greig, looked magnificent. A little bit of moisture under the surface, and he thought it would roll out to be just about a perfect strip as the game went on. It's to be the Indian skipper, Kapil Dev, who will start off the attack here. The Indians have a very, very solid bowling lineup. Australia won the toss and batted, and we pick up play now in the third over. None for 4 is the score, with Wayne Phillips on 3. Kapil Dev is the bowler. He's coming into Phillips, and your commentators, Ian Chappell and Frank Tyson.
It's a good shot from Phillips. Likes the ball coming into his pads, and that's the way that Kapil Dev is attacking him at the moment. He may have to change those plans. Good delivery, and going to second slip. Not sure whether that carried. That's Vengsarkar at second slip. There's certainly a good delivery, and that was the one that went across Phillips towards the slips. Got a lot of admiration for young David Boon.
Binny comes in. David Boon is taking strike.
That's a good shot. He's found the gap nicely. Gone to one of the longer boundaries, but it will reach. So that's the third boundary of the morning, the first to David Boon. And Australia none for 19 after 6 overs. And it's been quite a solid start. Phillips hooking in the air. Yadav going back at mid-on, and he's under it. So the first wicket has fallen. Kapil Dev picking up Wayne Phillips with the bouncer. And that was a well-taken catch.
It certainly was. Running back Yadav there took it very easily, and a well thought out dismissal that, with Kapil Dev keeping the ball up to Wayne Phillips most of the time. This time dropping it short. It was onto Phillips quicker than he expected, bounced a little bit more, and Phillips hitting it early, lofted it to mid-on and pays the penalty. He's on his way to the pavilion, out for 11.
Well, there we are. Wayne Phillips, the man out, caught by Yadav. He made 11. The men out there at the moment, Boon and Marsh. And the score is 1 for 22. Well, that's a short ball and cut away over the top of Gully's head. Roger Binny went up in the air there, but it was played very well by Marsh. It was a short ball. There's no third man, and I think he glided that away in the air, Max, over the top of Gully on purpose. Oh, that's well bowled. Beautiful ball from Kapil Dev. Not only did it bounce a little bit more than was expected, but it also moved away off the wicket.
Binny to Jeff Marsh.
It's in the air, and he's gone. Out caught. Well, what a blow that is. For the first time for a while, Marsh playing a shot to a ball just outside off stump. Perhaps he misread the pace, but he hit it straight to Sharma at cover. And he made no mistake, almost a look of relief as it came towards him. Really slowly, a lovely, easy catch for him.
I think that late swing was the thing that decepted Jeff Marsh on that occasion. He followed it across and he didn't hit it well. That late swing caused him to hit an outside area, not quite in the middle of the bat, and well, he's on his way. So it's 2 for 33.
Binny comes in. David Boon is taking strike. Boon's got that away for 4. A short arm pull. Didn't go for the hook shot. Might have gone in the air, but just crashed it away in front of square leg. It's Chetan Sharma now bowling to border. Good indication of the quick outfield, and also that Alan Border is going to be very selective in the balls he tries to strike away to the boundary.
That's a good shot from Boon. He's hit a number of shots straight down the ground. That's also part of the change in his technique. He's hitting a lot more strongly through the offside. That one finishes up against the cover boundary. Great shot there to Alan Border. Takes Australia to 62. It's in the air, but he picks the gap nicely through the covers. And that will beat Ravi Shastri into the boundary. So Australia now 2 for 69. Not only have the Australians opted for finger spinners, so have the Indians. Ravi Shastri, the left-arm orthodox bowler, comes on, and he's greeted with a straight drive from Alan Border.
It's Chetan Sharma now bowling to Border.
Well, that's hit away in the air, and it went very quickly wide of the gully fieldsman, who's Roger Binny. And Border wasting no time there. I think probably purposely hit it in the air, but it wasn't that far away from gully. That's driven through the gap beautifully by David Boon. Well, that never left the ground at any stage. There was no risk of it being caught anywhere. It was a beautiful, elegant cover drive, and what's more, it was placed and timed to perfection. Nicely put away by Border. Binny just a little too short. And Alan Border, who's very strong off that back foot, he practically had time to look where he was going to clip that one away to. Well played and well fielded. Deflected slightly away, but that was into the gap, and that single brings up the 100 for Australia. They've lost 2 wickets in getting the 100. And a big cheer here for these two, who are beginning to rectify things for Australia. That's another beautiful shot on the leg side from David Boon. Gathering speed as it went across the surface there down towards the square leg boundary.
Here's another nice shot. Well, I'd love to be able to play shots like that. That's beautiful shot. That's a nice boundary.
50 to David Boon in his first game as an opener for Australia. And that's now 3 tests in succession that David Boon has reached the half-century mark. Still a bit of swing there for Kapil Dev, but it's really just swung onto the middle of Alan Border's bat. Really have seen some fine leg side shots from these two players today. That's the delivery that has troubled him, the one that Kapil Dev pushes across Border. He's beaten him with it twice. On that occasion, it was almost an unforced shot. And they've gone back for 4 all run. Should I perhaps class that as an involuntary shot that Border played.
He's after it, then tries to pull away, but the cushioning effect of his wrist gets him well, and he's taken the gas. Kapil Dev can't believe it. Flash outside the off stump, ever so close. A little bit of extra bounce there. Kapil Dev, very energetic bowler, a lot of spring in his step.
Oh, and he's got him. Might have been a bit of inside edge there. Border, I think, was looking for the one, again moving away from the left-hander. But it just perhaps moved back a little bit into Border, and I got the feeling that there was a little bit of inside edge. So Border out just short of his 50.
Yes, there's a bit of inside edge, drags it onto the off stump. Perseverance. Kapil Dev has bowled pretty well. He's been the pick of the bowlers. So Border just missing out on a half-century. He's out for 49. And Australia have lost their 3rd wicket for 124.
Chetan Sharma to Boon.
Glorious shot, that one. Through the covers. Put down the glasses. That's the pace. It's really hit another Tasmanian, Steve Randall, standing in the umpire there. Beautiful shot, that.
Shivlal Yadav, the off-spinner, to Boon.
And that one's played away in that direction. The ball rolling down towards the member section. And 4 runs as it goes into the fence at square leg. And David Boon loves that shot, and there the members are. They appreciate good shots, and that certainly was one. Oh, and that's going to have to be chased. I suppose the Indians will be praying this one doesn't stop just short, because they may run 7. As it turns out, it rolls into the boundary. That was a good shot too.
Shivlal Yadav is the bowler. He's bowling to Greg Ritchie.
Hit that one away square on the leg side, and it's running down towards the boundary there. No trouble. Can't afford to bowl too many loose balls in these conditions, because good batsmen will dispatch them to the boundary. Oh, a big appeal there for LBW, and the umpire down there, umpire Crafter, almost been pleaded upon by Kapil Dev. It couldn't have been too far away.
Ravi Shastri bowling to Boon.
Down the wicket comes Boon, and that one hits straight back at the bowler. Now, did he hit that into the ground, or was that a catch? I suspect it may have been a catch, judging from the reaction behind the wicket.
Yes, I'm of that opinion too.
Oh, that's a lovely shot. Boon smashing that one away square on the offside. Well, you try and bowl short to him outside off stump, nor can you bowl on his pads. That is a lovely cut shot. Short, again cut away. It's another 4. Well, Kapil Dev didn't enjoy that one too much. I think he thought that Srikkanth should have tried to stop that. It was cut away ferociously to the boundary for 4. A good shot by Boon, 3 for 185.
So Shastri again to continue. Boon the batsman, the pressure still on. 3 fieldsmen hovering around the bat.
Quick single shy at the stumps down the bowler's end, and that would have been run out. Well, there's an example of what the nervous 90s does to a batsman who's just a little bit tense. I'm sure he would have been just out of his ground. Let's have another look.
Yes, I think he might have been out of his ground by more than a couple of inches too. That was absolutely ridiculous, suicidal almost.
Well, that's in the air, and he's dropped it. I don't believe it. That was straight down his throat. Mohinder Amarnath fielding him mid-on. What a dreadful shot from Ritchie. Just when these two look as if they're getting their act together, both of them try and commit suicide.
Well, it's been a bad couple of balls, really, for Jimmy Amarnath. First of all, he's missed running out David Boon. Now he gets his absolute sitter, which he clutches at, juggles. He has 4 attempts at that.
Well, Ravi Shastri must be so disappointed. He's plugged away out there, try to keep it tight. And unfortunately, his fielders have let him down. And that's what happens. Having had such a good over, he drops 1 short. 9 runs from that over. A lovely cut shot, 3 for 193.
Shivlal Yadav, the off-spinner, to Boon.
That's a good shot, and I think it'll reach the boundary. First ever Test century for David Boon, and what a happy young man he is. And a well-deserved century. He's played brilliantly as an opener, and the selectors must be pretty pleased with that move of pushing David Boon to the top of the order.
Shastri to Ritchie.
That's a good shot. Nicely placed by Greg Ritchie. And we might see a bit of a flow of runs here now that David Boon has passed his century. That's a good shot from Greg Ritchie. He had 2 men to beat and not much room between them, and he found the gap beautifully.
Makes it a little easier batting if you're strong off the back foot against a bowler like Shastri, who doesn't give much away.
but when he does, that you can pounce on it quickly, and that's exactly what Greg Ritchie did then.
Very important session this, because the second new ball will become available. Lovely shot. Good footwork. Took him right to the pitch of the ball. Perfect placement. Couldn't ask for anything more. Chetan Sharma comes in now to Ritchie. Well, there's no point in looking at the ground, because the bounce was there, providing the body had been behind the ball. 112 to Boon. He's going to take strike to Chetan Sharma. He's coming in from the outer end, cathedral end. Good shot. Didn't time that quite as well as some of his straight drives today, but he still got it away very nicely. Shot. What a feature of David Boon's batting today. As his confidence has grown, every time something loose has come along, he's taken full advantage of it.
And another fine shot on the onside.
Beautifully timed once again by Boon, and a nice milestone for him, because now he's made the highest score ever by a Tasmanian in Test cricket. He's just gone ahead of the 118 Jackie Badcock made for Australia against England, Melbourne, 1936-37. .50 to Greg Ritchie. Well played.
And a fine 50 by Greg Ritchie. Started off just pure defence. He's let David Boon do most of the attacking. Now he's decided to get after it there. Had the one left, let off on 30. But he's had a pretty good series so far.
Kapil Dev to Boon.
And the straight one and gone. Caught at third slip. That was a very good delivery from the Indian all-rounder. Two wickets now to Kapil Dev, but that ends a fine innings from David Boon, and he can be well pleased with his first century for Australia.
Beautiful delivery, that one. Just holding itself straight to third slip, and it's a good job he had that extra slip in position, otherwise that would have gone begging. So Boon out for a magnificent 123, and he'll be a very happy man tonight. 4 for 241.
It's a good shot from Greg Ritchie, beautifully timed. Amarnath is at fine leg. Oh, and that's a good delivery. Moving back quite sharply, and that'll slow Greg Ritchie down for some time. Always seems to be a source of great amusement to everyone else but the person who's hit. I've never seen that situation on the cricket field where it doesn't amuse everyone else, but I've never yet seen a batsman who's laughing, mainly because they're not capable of laughing.
That was a very good performance from the Australians today. They played it well. It was just like a proper day of Test match cricket, with the side batting first, making 250 and trying to keep wickets intact. At the close of play, 4 for 248. A fine performance from David Boon. He has a lot of courage, a lot of determination, and he did a very, very sound job there for Alan Border today. He played very straight indeed right throughout the day, and it needed an extremely good ball to get him out at the end. Marsh out for 5, Border for 49, Ritchie unbeaten on 55, and Hooks on 2. 93 overs gone, 4 for 248. With the bowling, the outstanding bowler was Kapil Dev, 24 overs, 4 maidens, 3 for 70. He thoroughly deserved those figures. Binny 1 for 42. Chetan Sharma, 14 overs for 53, is quite expensive. And Shivlal Yadav, 13 overs for 43. Ravi Shastri, 24 overs for 38. I still feel that the Indians might regret leaving out Shiva Ramakrishnan, the little leg spinner, before this match is over. But the first day, an excellent one for the Australians after Alan Border won the toss. And tomorrow, the forecast is good, and so it is too for Australia's chances. Hello, welcome to the highlights of the second day's play of the Test match between Australia and India at the Adelaide Oval. Australia started the day at 4 for 248. A splendid innings yesterday from David Boon, 123 in 255 balls faced. And not out overnight, Greg Ritchie on 55 and David Hookes on 2. The bowling figures for India: Kapil Dev, 24 overs, 4 maidens, 3 for 70, was the outstanding bowler yesterday. Well, the Australians have to get through the second new ball this morning. They did it quite adequately, up to 25 minutes after the start of play. Here's Kapil Dev now. He's coming into bowl to David Hookes. The Australians 4 for 261, and Ian Chappell is your commentator with Keith Stackpole.
And that's run away nicely between third slip and gully. Azharuddin once again does the chasing. It would seem that with the two senior players in the slips, Gavaskar at first slip and Ben Sarkar at second slip, it's all left to the youngster at third slip, Azharuddin, to do the chasing.
Yes, well, good thinking by the more experienced players there. Let the younger fellow go after it. Perhaps he's got the better arm of the two, but that was a good shot.
That's a good shot from Ritchie, getting on the front foot to play the square cut. And that'll be the first boundary of the morning. Australia 4 for 268.
It's now Sharma. Dev taking himself out of the attack, having bowled 4 overs this morning. Sharma having his first go today. Well, that's hit away square on the leg side, and that'll be 4. Yes, Ritchie likes him a little bit short. He's a good puller, and that was an example of getting the ball away past the umpire down to a short square leg boundary.
Played with a great deal of ease, almost dismissing the ball from his presence as he puts that past square leg and splits the field to a nicety.
There's the bouncer. He cuts that one away down towards third man. There's no one in that area. That's 4. Well, that was an attempted bouncer. Unfortunately, he was outside off stump, and Sharma's not that quick. Instead of being forced to pull the ball, he actually just cut it away for 4. There's the bouncer again, and Hookes playing high.
David Hookes said something to Chetan Sharma after that bouncer and let him know in no uncertain fashion what he thought of that delivery. And 2 bounces in succession, and Chetan Sharma took umbrage there.
That's a good shot by Hookesy. Probably said something to him as he went past down that end. Well, there's one way to handle problems out there, and that's to win the little battle, and at the moment Hookes is in front.
Kapil Dev bowling, and Ritchie is taking strike.
That's a long chase for Roger Binny. Is he going to beat him? Yes, that's the longest boundary here at Adelaide Oval. Huge ground, about 200 metres from one end to the other. That extra pace, the ball not quite in the right direction. Down the leg side. Ritchie helps it on its way, and he picks up a boundary. Moves now to 84.
A good delivery there from Kapil Dev, catching the edge, but he's only got 1 slip in a gully, so it costs him runs. And once again, it's Azharuddin who has to do the chasing.
A lot of runs been scored down in that area over the past day and this morning. The outside edge through that vacant area, but so often as we see these days, no third man down there. I would think that the Australians have picked up something around about 30, 35 runs that have come from edges just such as that one then.
Shivlal Yadav as the bowler. David Hookes taking strike.
Oh, he's got him, the drifter, and it's gone right through David Hookes, yorked him. And that was a good delivery. Used the breeze perfectly.
That was certainly the best ball that we've seen from Yadav in his spell of 13 overs. David Hookes a little confused by the flight there. Did him all ends up, and at the end was a very tentative push forward, and that's a good breakthrough for India, just coming some 10 minutes before lunch. That's what they've been working towards. And David Hookes, the Australian vice-captain, out bowled Yadav for 34, and Australia 5 for 318.
Shivlal Yadav to Greg Matthews.
And a quick run there. Matthews keen to get off the mark, but a very risky run. Certainly Greg Ritchie's not all that keen about it.
Greg Matthews facing Ravi Shastri.
He's away. He's got one. He's turning for two. There'll be an easy three here. Won't quite make the boundary. Chetan Sharma throws that one back over the stump, so it's an easy three. It's a nice start after lunch, whatever lunch may be, probably fruit salad and ice cream.
Oh, once again, that cut shot from Matthews, racing away down to backward point for 4. Well, he played the back cut, or the late cut, and beat the man fielding it backward point there. They moved him a little finer, and that was a beautifully executed square cut.
Using the space behind the batting crease there to get back and across, most importantly. He plays that shot so very well.
Well, Greg Ritchie is on 99. He's got the strike. He's going to be facing Ravi Shastri. Backward a point. They're going for it. Matthews is backed up well. That's his 100. A good 100 too from Greg Ritchie. He's worked very hard for it, and he looks a very happy young man.
Very happy young man. Look at the handshake. The Greg Matthews autograph. What a great knock. Started out at 55, not out overnight. Came here, played some good shots this morning, but was secure. Played a tedious role, just the 35 runs in the morning session, and now he's reaped the benefits. Some fine driving, a couple of player misses outside the off stump, but he really has accumulated the runs. A long stay there, 327 minutes. First 100 in Australia. Magnificent performance, and the third in Test matches. Well, there's a good shot. That one's through. No need to run for that one. It's a beautiful shot by Ritchie. Over-pitched. Indication by Ravi Shastri.
It's not often we see Ravi Shastri bowling full tosses. That was a bit of a present to Ritchie, but he did advance down the pitch.
About like that, and he's lofted it between Shastri and Sharma at mid-off and cover.
That was exactly made to order. And whilst I don't think Ritchie's the greatest player in the world coming down the wicket, he tends to run alongside the ball rather than getting behind its line. He still is a sweet hitter of the ball when he goes through with his drive.
Kapil Dev to Greg Matthews. Must be very... Indeed, it is very close, because the finger has gone up. That was a good piece of bowling from Kapil Dev. Beat Matthews on the forward stroke. I think we'll find that Matthews was only just forward. I don't think he was pushing very far down the pitch.
There's been some very good planning of late by the Indians, and that was plumb. Even though it hit Matthews's front pad, it was just marginally in front of the crease, and certainly a very good decision there by Tony Crafter. Greg Matthews, who'd been struggling there of late, out LBW to Kapil, giving him his 4th wicket in Australia now, 6 for 374.
It's gone. Now, what on earth was happening there? It was a very, very odd stroke. A lovely piece of bowling, because it beat him in the air. But I'm not quite sure what Greg Ritchie was doing. He's out for 128. He'll be disappointed with that method of dismissal, because there were more runs there for the taking.
So I don't think you'd be happy with that. That was certainly a strange dismissal and strange ending to a very good innings by Ritchie. 128, a very casual shot. And regulation take by Kermani's been waiting there for some day and a half now to pick up that catch. But Kapil Dev, he whips in for his 5th wicket in this innings, and the end of a fine innings by Greg Ritchie, the second 100 in this match. He picks up 128 in Australia, 7 for 375.
7 for 375. Kapil Dev with 5 wickets against his name for the 19th time in Test cricket. Kapil Dev to McDermott. And there's a 6th. Not much doubt about that. Full Tarleton was through him before he knew what had happened.
Well, it seemed to be Richard. It was certainly Richard Hadley in the test against New Zealand, and let's hope it's not going to be a repeat performance. But Kapil Dev, he's ripping through the heart of this Australian batting now. 3 wickets in 2 overs, and that would have been plum. Craig McDermott may have just lost that for a moment, and he's out without scoring. So been certainly an eventful over already from Kapil Dev and Australia. 8 for 375.
Well, there's a nice time for a young lad to make his debut in Test match cricket. Bruce Reid comes out on a hat-trick. He's got away from the confrontation there without the slightest trouble. 2 runs from the very first ball he's faced to Bruce Reid. Shivlal Yadav is the bowler. Bright is the batsman.
A good shot from Ray Bright. Ray Bright now in grave danger of being left just a few not out. Edged and straight to Gavaskar, who has been standing very quietly at first slip, and finally he's got the opportunity to get into the game. So 7 now for Kapil Dev.
Yes, that was a good catch by Sunil Gavaskar. It seemed to slightly shock him as it flew away, and he'd given it a little belt, and there's Gavaskar adjusting his hands slightly. Nicely caught, and another wicket to Kapil Dev. He's on 7 for 106. And Bruce Reid is out for 2. 9 for 381.
Hughes facing Kapil Dev.
Edged and taken at second slip by Vengsarkar. So Merv Hughes out for a duck in his first Test match, and Kapil Dev gets 8 for 106.
That was a great performance by Kapil Dev. One stage he'd got just 3 for 99, and he's turned that in to the magnificent bowling figures of 8 for 106. So what a great performance. All his teammates gathering around him, and with some justification too, they're going to cheer him off the ground.
Well, that was a thoroughly disappointing performance by the tail-end batsman for the Australians. All out 381. Tremendous effort from Kapil Dev. But at one stage, Australia 5 for 374. The outstanding player today, Greg Ritchie, a fine innings, 128 from 321 balls. David Hookes batted well for his 34. That was a good partnership between that pair, 77 in 32 overs. And then Ritchie and Matthews put on 56 in 24 overs. But the rest, well, they all succumbed to Kapil Dev, and the bowling figures for India, he's dominated them in the same way as did Richard Hadley when New Zealand played Australia in the recent series. 38 overs. 6 maidens, 8 for 106. And the other significant bowling performance from Shivlal Yadav, I thought, who improved a great deal on his first day effort. 27 overs, 6 maidens, 1 for 66. We pick up play now in the very first over of the Indian innings. Craig McDermott is the bowler and having a little trouble finding his feet.
Whoops, and Craig McDermott down, and down very heavily, and ripping some skin there off the elbow. I'd say he landed on the side of his boot, not on the sprigs.
It's a nasty one, and he's back with us live now.
Gavaskar might have ducked into that one. Certainly took his eye off the ball. Be interested to see what the call is there. Must have got a bit of glove to it.
Now Merv Hughes on his way.
An attempted Yorker there from Merv Hughes. He doesn't quite get it in the block hole. And Srikkanth says, don't bother to run for that, Sonny. I'll stay down my end when I hit him like that. They're always 4. It's none for 9. That's a nice shot from Gavaskar. And brings up a boundary for him. So that'll give him a lot of confidence. Well, once again, Craig McDermott. I can't believe that. Craig McDermott, the ball's fallen out of his hand. It's been called a no ball. It's trickled along the wicket. Srikkanth has decided that he's going to have a whack at it, and he misses it.
McDermott to Gavaskar.
And another no ball. Beg your pardon, it wasn't a no ball. But 4 runs to Gavaskar, and he really is starting to gain in confidence.
Yes, he's got a very shrewd cricketing brain and a lot of experience. He will have gone through patches before in his career where things haven't worked out well.
And another boundary. So suddenly the Indian batsman really getting the feel of the pace of this pitch. And the Australian bowlers will want to get their line right. And Sonny really thrashing away at anything that's outside off stump. And the Australian bowlers have really got to get right on the stumps. As soon as they're outside the stumps, either side, the Indian batsmen take toll.
Lots of big trees. And of course, the magnificent Adelaide Oval itself.
Once again running that one away, and he'd be a lot happier with that one. He kept that on the ground all the way down to the boundary wall. Alan Border, whenever he moves his 3rd man away, all Srikkanth does is run one down there for 4.
Reed to Srikkanth.
Oh, and that was an edge. Well, I wonder whether it carried to Phillips or not. I just got the feeling it didn't quite get there. There's no doubt that it was a thick edge. And Phillips came flying across with his right hand, but didn't quite make it, and it's rolled down to the boundary for yet another 4.
And that's away through past point, and it looks as though it'll get to the fence. Yes, it will. So that's yet another boundary to Sunil Gavaskar. And it really is proving to be India's day.
There's a lovely shot. Now, McDermott should be learning from this. He should be learning that you don't bowl on Gavaskar's pads. There's a great shot. There's an opportunity to run 4 there.
And I think they might. They are crossing for the 4th. There's a long, long chase down there.
Ray Bright bowling now to Srikkanth.
He's hit that one pretty well. That one drifted in as well, but Srikkanth picking it up on the sweep shot, and he really does time that ball beautifully.
McDermott to Srikkanth.
And there's the 50 for Srikkanth. .51 to Srikkanth, and India none for 95. Greg Ritchie gets the catch at mid-on. They don't need the two men behind square leg. And Srikkanth goes with his score on 51.
That is a good catch by Greg Ritchie. He had to move quite a long way to his right. And once again, it was a short ball, and Srikkanth getting a bit frustrated. Try to hit that one away in front of square, and Ritchie moving away quickly to his right managed to pluck it out of the sky there with two hands. And that's a very relieved looking Craig McDermott, who runs over to congratulate him. So Srikkanth out for 51, and India have lost their first wicket with the score on 95.
And a good short delivery there from Craig McDermott. Wayne Phillips couldn't quite get to it. Got a hand on it, but couldn't hang on to it.
Well, Phillips obviously thought he dropped that. He thought it came off Gavaskar's glove. It just seemed to me that there was a bit more side and shirt on the ball than there might have been glove. At any rate, the Australians looked disappointed about it, as well they might, and they had to be satisfied with just Srikkanth's wicket by the close of play. India, at the close, 1 for 97 with Gavaskar 39, and Chetan Sharma coming in as night watchman on 1. He's quite a useful batsman. Don't just regard him as a night watchman. He can play, and he's made runs on this tour already. The Australian bowlers took a hammering. 29 overs only were needed for the 97 and the loss of the 1 wicket. McDermott had 45 taken from 11 overs, and I thought bowled far too short. Hughes a little nervous, understandably, and didn't quite have his line and length right. He was slanting too much towards leg stump. Reid, I thought, was the best of the pace bowlers. 7 overs, 4 maidens, none for 18, and was quite impressive. And so too was Ray Bright, who spun the ball quite sharply in his 4 overs, 3 maidens, no wicket for 5. It was a disappointing day for Australia, but a triumph for India. They bowled out the Australians when they looked as though they could have gone on to 450 or even 500, and then their openers cut a swathe through the Australian opening bowlers. Tomorrow will be a very, very interesting day. Good night. Hello, welcome to the highlights of the third day's play of the Test match in Adelaide, Australia and India, where yesterday India took a stranglehold on the latter part of the day. They finished up with 1 for 97, and that was with Gavaskar 39 not out, and the night watchman, who's also quite a useful player, Chetan Sharma, 1 not out. The batsman out, Srikkanth, for 51. The bowling figures for Australia: McDermott took some stick, having 45 taken from 11 overs, but did pick up the 1 wicket to fall, and Hughes none for 26, Reid no wicket for 18, and Bright none for 5. Well, India had a setback this morning because Sunil Gavaskar, their former captain and their opening batsman, who played so well yesterday evening, was unable to come out owing to an injury where McDermott clipped him on the wrist, or just above the wrist, with a sharply lifting delivery. Well, that was rather a nasty experience for Gavaskar, and it meant that he was unable to come out this morning and take it. Now, we have a minor sensation here at the Adelaide Oval, and Ian Chappell is in the commentary box with Frank Tyson.
Thanks very much, Richie, and good morning all. Yes, Chetan Sharma, the night watchman, is out there, but at the other end, no Sunil Gavaskar. So Gavaskar hasn't made it to the crease this morning.
Chetan Sharma. Venkata came out, in fact, to join that player, and we pick up play now in the 6th over, with India having gone on to 1 for 103. Ray Bright is coming in to bowl to Chetan Sharma. Your commentator is Ian Chappell, and with him is Frank Tyson.
Chetan Sharma has decided to try and remove a couple of those close-in fieldsmen, either by intimidating them or flatting them. So the first boundary of the morning to the night watchman.
Bruce Reid bowling to Venkata.
That's the first runs off Bruce Reid this morning. Boundary to Venkata.
Have someone in very short on that offside there, or just away over on the onside. Just put a bit more pressure on him.
He's cut that one away beautifully. You don't need to bother chasing that one. That's not a very good ball from young Bruce Reid. Short outside off stump, and he executed that cut shot very well. Well, that's well played too, once again, straight into the gap. Oh, he's really enjoying himself. coming back for the third. So 3 to Sharma. 9 from that over, 1 for 121.
He's forced him to alter his field. Borders once again in close there, but Merv Hughes also close in on short cover. And good tactics by the Indian night watchman, and very frustrating for the Australians. Ray Bright gave him a real glare then, but no need for that. That hit right in the middle of the bat. And with most of those fieldsmen up, once it's through them, it's 4 runs. So that's his highest score in Test cricket for Sharma.
Merv Hughes is the bowler. Venkata taking strike.
Oh, and he's got him. He's out, caught behind. Merv Hughes has taken his first wicket in Test cricket. And boy, that'll be a nice relief for him. That was a good delivery, good line, just short of a length, a bit of extra bounce for him. And that one nicked, and the catch made by Wayne Phillips. And a great moment in the career of Merv Hughes, picking up his first Test wicket. Good over, he bowled tightly to Venkata, beat him early on in the over, and then Venkata just hanging the bat out at that one, looking to work it away through backward point, getting a faint edge and straight through to Wayne Phillips. So that's the wicket that the Australians have been looking for, and India losing their second wicket for 131 with Venkata caught Phillips, bowled Hughes for 7 as the drinks come out onto the ground.
It was a magnificent effort. It's got to go down as a chance, but what a blinder it would have been.
So listen, man, wouldn't have got near that. David Boon, horizontal.
McDermott to Azharuddin. Azharuddin is off the mark. That's well run by Chetan Sharma to come back for 3. In the air, way out to the offside boundary. Short boundaries for both sides in Adelaide. Once again, Chetan Sharma underlines what a valuable cricketer he is.
Well, Chetan Sharma, the night watchman, is still there on 32. Azharuddin is 4. And 49 overs into the match for Australia.
That's the perfect line and the perfect length. Don't do much about that. More runs over the edge and into the fence. No third man.
So Phillips had a torrid time last night. A couple of let-offs. The first delivery from Ray Bright. Leg side catch, but another one in the edge, and that's into the gully area. That's Jeff Marsh.
Well stopped by Marsh. Did well to get his body across. Second line of defence. He's had a couple of nasty bounces out there this morning.
Well, he acknowledges Hughes. That won't help him too much at all. But they're a mean set of eyes to go on top of that moustache. He's not a pretty sight, Merv Hughes. And why should a fast bowler look pretty? He hates the batsman. Look at it. Teeth grit. Away he comes.
Away it goes again. Difficult to set a field for that. It's 2 for 150.
Well, that's a good delivery from Merv Hughes. But he's going to have to hit the stumps, I think, because Chetan Sharma doesn't seem to be able to nick them.
Yes, this is the line to bowl to Sharma, I reckon, round about off stump, and if you keep plugging away out there, it's only going to be a question of time.
It's a good shot. That's the trouble when you do pitch one up on the stumps. He pouts it straight down the ground. He's got a very good eye. Craig McDermott has got a heck of a long chase there. And Sharma easily back for 4. Edged but short of second slip. Alan Border, the man in that position. And it finishes up with Greg Ritchie at the short third man position.
Well short of Border.
Merv Hughes with his first test wicket this morning, getting Vengsarkar for 7. That's a good shot off the pads there. And Sharma picking up 2. Well run. It's the 2 faster men playing in their first test match, Hughes and Reid. Reid hasn't taken a wicket yet, but he's been very accurate. 16 overs and 10 of them have been maidens.
Fine shot in this field. That's still got a bit of pace on it. It won't go to the boundary. They pick up a couple.
Well, that brings up his 50. And what an innings it's been by the night watchman. He made 67 here against South Australia, 27 not out in the second innings. And he's just recorded his first half-century in Test cricket. A little bit of congratulations there from a man down the other end who knows what it's like to score 50s and 100s. Mohinder Amarnath, he's one of the new stars in cricket. There it is, Chetan Sharma, 50 in 85 balls. That's pretty quick. And he's turning out to be a source of frustration here for the Australians.
McDermott to Azharuddin.
Oh, that's the big question is asked there. That must have been quite close. Certainly too close to leave, although Mohinder Amarnath is pretty good at judging where his off stump is.
Well, certainly it was well worth a shout. It hit him almost in line with the off stump. He was in mid-air actually when the ball hit. And McDermott gets out very wide that angle, so he's coming back the knee roll on the back leg. And here's Steve Randall, another Tasmanian umpiring in this match. Says not out.
Onto the back foot, and nice timing there. It's quite incredible the way he gets the ball away past the fieldsman, just with a little flick of the wrists right at the end. He was right up on his toes there. He might even been in the air when he played that shot off the back foot. It's well pitched up and played straight to mid-off again. And I'm afraid to say that Azharuddin thought there was an easy run. There was. Sharma didn't agree. 2 for 164. Well, the conditions very windy. Graham Sutcliffe is in that camera. I hope he stays in it. It's very gusty up there. It's a bit difficult to keep it still, I can assure you. Mind you, he's the youngster. He's the junior pro in the side, and it's rather like forward short leg. You know, the youngsters come into the team, you put them in the dangerous spots for a year or two. Well, he's up there about 60 or 70 feet off the ground, and still doing a good job on the focusing. Well, that's a picture from his camera. It's a bit difficult to keep it dead still. I'm not sure whether it's him shaking or the wind. It is very gusty out here at the moment. Having said that, it seems to be blowing the rain away rather than blowing it towards us. And there was some suggestion that there may be thunder showers later today, but while this wind persists, it's unlikely. It's very high, that cloud cover. We do get an odd big spot tumbling down. But that's about as bad as it's got so far. We haven't lost any play.
The breeze is blowing across from mid-wicket towards, well, almost from a mid-on towards a third man to help him angle the ball across the right-hander.
That's well played, straight down the ground. Once again, good timing. He stretched for that one a little bit. He went to drive it, wasn't quite there. And he's decided to come back for the third and does it comfortably. 3 to Mohinder Amarnath.
Yes, it's usually the worst thing that a batsman can do is think. They invariably think of other things and scramble the brain completely, and this guy obviously thinks he can bat now. He'll make 100 in a test match. He may well do that, but certainly it's discolouring his approach to the game. He was very flamboyant, swashbuckling style against Merv Hughes. Now very defensive.
Oh, well bowled. That's a short one, and they've got away with a single. It was banged in, and he managed to get up. He doesn't play them very well on his body. Managed to get right off the ground and pushed away on the onside for 1. Chetan Sharma has 51. Mohinder Amarnath has 11. And to take up commentary now, Ian Chappell and Frank Tyson.
Thanks, Tony. And that's a good shot from Chetan Sharma, fending it away off his chest area. It's really quite unpleasant conditions out there at the moment, and I would think for the Australians being made even more unpleasant by the night watchman hanging around. And fended off into the air and safely again. And Craig McDermott just looks to the sky, I think looking for a bit of divine assistance. India 2 for 171. Well, a bit earlier in the day we saw a momentous occasion, particularly for Merv Hughes, picking up his first wicket in Test cricket. Vengsarkar out for 7. We've just had another momentous occasion here in the commentary box. Frank Tyson has been replaced by Ashley Mallett, 2 of the clumsier people that I know, and the passing, nothing was knocked over. That is a momentous occasion. Mallett replaced by Tyson without any damage being done to the commentary box.
Yes, indeed. Didn't spill a drop of coffee. I can't believe that there's anyone clumsier than me. Bruce Reid continuing, and he really has bowled extremely well. 20 overs, he's into his 21st over. He's conceded 38 runs. And he in a pretty good debut. Young Reid, the beanpole.
Yes, he lives up to his name, doesn't he, Reid? He's built like one. But certainly, I think he'd be quite pleased with the way he started in Test cricket. Obviously, he'd be disappointed the fact that he hasn't taken a wicket yet. But he's continued to bowl good line and length, and occasionally produce a quicker delivery with a bit of extra bounce, and that was it.
Certainly uses his height, and he's got plenty of that. Nicknamed Bird, and there he's using the height. Pretty short, that one. And Sharma avoids it pretty easily. Sharma, the night watchman, 54 unconquered. Batted extremely well. Had a few anxious moments against the short delivery. There's a man in there at the short forward leg.
Edson taken by Wayne Phillips. So finally the night watchman is gone, and Bruce Reid gets his first wicket in Test cricket. And that is a good reward for some very good work.
Very well deserved indeed. Now, I did show a little disliking for the short one, and there he is, getting the top edge and through to Phillips, and makes no mistake. Bruce Reid, well done. First Test victim. Very well deserved indeed. 1 for 38 into his 21st over. And Chetan Sharma put Phillips bowl Reid for 54. It's 3 for 171.
Craig McDermott is the bowler. Amarnath taking strike. And the answer from Amarnath is 4 runs. Just a neat little, might have been a half-leg glance, half-snick.
So here the umpires, just I think the light the problem rather than the rain at the moment. It's got quite dark here at the Adelaide Oval, and they've offered the light to the Indian batsman and they've decided to take it.
Well, that bad light interruption was at 10 to 3 in the afternoon, and the umpires then took an early tea with the hope of restarting, but I'm afraid then the rain started to come down. First of all, it was just the isolated shower or two, and then it became really heavy with thunder and lightning. So there was very little chance of the umpires getting the players back on the field. When play was abandoned for the day, the score was 3 for 176. The men out. Gavaskar remained retired hurt on 39. Srikkanth for 51. Chetan Sharma 54. Srikkanth 7. Mohinder Amarnath was on 12 and Jimmy Amarnath on 4. 69.1 overs for 3 for 176 with 9 extras, and the bowling figures for Australia. And all those 4 bowlers were very much better today than yesterday. Yesterday their line and length wasn't all that could have been asked for. Today Border had them marshalled very well. He set his fields well and they bowled to them, and the difference was immediately apparent. McDermott 1 for 66, and the other bowlers, Hughes and Reid, each taking their first wicket at Test match level. So the game has reached a disappointing stage now, because it promised much today with the Australians bowling better and tying down the Indian batsmen. 2 days to go, and we'll just have to wait and see what tomorrow brings. For the moment, it's good night. Hello, welcome to the highlights of the 4th day's play, the Test match between Australia and India at the Adelaide Oval. The overnight cards show that India were 3 for 176. That was after rain washed out play yesterday. Bad light was responsible, first of all, for a delay, and then a rainstorm hit the ground. 3 for 176 with Azharuddin on 12 and Amarnath 4. And the bowling figures, well, McDermott, Hughes and Reid each have a wicket. Hughes and Reid taking their first in Test match cricket. Yesterday, 183 minutes were lost because of the rain. Today, another 29 minutes lost, and that really set the players back on their heels in their bid for a victory for either side. Eventually, though, it all cleared up, and the forecasters were right. The sun came out, and play was able once again to get underway. We pick it up now at 3 for 181. Hughes is the bowler. He's coming into bowl to Azharuddin. Your commentators, Tony Gregg and Max Walker.
Well, that's well played off the back foot, square of the wicket. Marsh is after it down towards the boundary at backward point. I don't think you'll quite get there. So that's nice timing. It is the short boundary, and it doesn't have to be blazed away too firmly. Oh, and that's a good delivery from Merv Hughes, and Mohinder Amarnath getting himself into a lot of trouble on that occasion. He doing what Gavaskar did, ducking into it a little bit. Have a look at that, whack into the arm. Oh, that's well bowled. Well, having hit him on the shoulder, he then bowled a beautiful line just outside off stump, and slightly shaken up. Mohinder Amarnath has a little flirt at it. 3 for 185.
Bruce Reid to Mohinder Amarnath.
Oh, and there's a big appeal. He's gone, caught behind. Well bowled, Bruce Reid, nagging away just outside off stump, and the angle there provided by the left-hander, finding the outside edge of Azharuddin's bat, and straight through to the keeper. So Mohinder Amarnath out, caught behind.
Yes, the great man, the young man with so much talent, Azharuddin, is out for 17. Reid gets his second wicket, and well deserved. He's bowled a lot of maidens. He's bowled a magnificent line, not too quick, moved the ball around, and Phillips gets his 3rd catch. India 4 down now for 187.
Matthews to Amarnath.
Four runs. Beautifully stroked by Amarnath through that offside field.
Brilliant shot.
And that is the stamp of a player who is a very, very good player against fast bowling.
4 for 211, India. Srikkanth out for 51, Sharma 54, Vengsarkar 7, and Azharuddin 17. Full toss there to Shastri, and that's a nice ball to receive with these short boundaries on the side at Adelaide Oval. And a good bit of drift. That's a clever piece of bowling. In fact, Alan Border asked the question quite firmly there as Steve Randall was coming in, asking for the stumping.
Well taken too by Wayne Phillips. Ravi Shastri is having a few problems out there, just dragging forward and then just easing that toe behind the line.
That's a good shot from Shastri. Second boundary in this over, but that wasn't a bad ball. It was a good piece of footwork by Shastri and a nice piece of timing. Keith Stackpole was talking about the bat that Ravi Shastri is using. Must be a good one. He must have had a few good bats. He's hit 6 sixes in one over in a Ranji Trophy match. Puts him on par with Sir Garfield Sobers, who has also achieved that feat. So 3 boundaries in that over. It's not quite as good as 6 sixes, but in a test match, 3 fours in one over is excellent going.
Right to Amarnath.
That's a good shot from Amarnath. Used his feet beautifully. So we're seeing a real flood of boundaries with the spinners being introduced to the attack.
So you can see the experience of the Indian batsmen in these last couple of overs, how adept they are at playing spin bowling. But that was a beautiful shot. Came down the wicket. Wasn't a great deal of drift in that. Came nicely onto the bat.
Here's Craig McDermott now. He has the second new ball. Ravi Shastri is to take strike.
Straight away beats the outside edge, and so Australia can expect just a little bit of extra movement from this ball, both off the seam and even in the air. Well, that one played away through the gully there, and once again there's no one down there. You've got 3 slips in a gully for the catch, but if you can get it through that gully area, because it's unguarded, the Indians are making the most of running the ball along this fast outfield down there for 4. It's in the air and played away on the onside. That is a good bouncer. Nice and straight and vicious.
And I must say that Shastri doesn't look as comfortable when he's on that back foot.
Oh, and up they go. That must have been quite tidy. Certainly very close. A lovely delivery there, nipping back and perhaps just doing a little bit too much. He was on the back foot. A big appeal there from everyone behind the stumps and Craig McDermott.
Shastri was struck plumb in front of the stumps, but Tony, you were talking about it earlier. It was a little bit high, but he was bowling right from the edge of the return crease. The angle was very accentuated. And probably not only was that ball too high, but it would have gone down the leg side.
Worked nicely by Shastri, and that should be 4 runs. Merv Hughes, which has that tendency to wander onto the leg stump, and Shastri, a very good player in that area, just whipping it away to that short square leg boundary for 4 runs. It was a nice shot. Caught it backward square leg. Good sharp chance. That's what they've been working on, the Australians, of getting that ball coming across the right-handed batsman and clipping it to Jeff Marsh at just behind square leg.
And didn't he take it well? With a very safe pair of hands, a good cover field, and that was a sharp chance, low down. He just confirmed what a good all-round fielder he is. Craig McDermott strikes, and that'll be a very valuable wicket for him. Amarnath out for 37. Court Marsh bowled McDermott. A boost of confidence for the young fast bowler. Well, they've got rid of Mohinder Amarnath for 37 with a score of 247. But now on comes a man who has 39 against his name, Sunil Gavaskar, who retired hurt after being struck by Craig McDermott, the man he'll be facing now.
Good First up delivery too from Craig McDermott. Still working on that leg stump. Straight driven down the ground. Nice long run there for Greg Matthews. Should pick up 4 runs. Sunil Gavaskar going back for the 4th run. So Craig McDermott just over pitching a little there.
No third man, so it's quite a safe shot. Simply flashed away over that slip and gully area.
5 for 259, and Craig McDermott having a rest, and it's going to be Bruce Reid brought into the attack. Just short of David Hooks in the slips. It was a poor effort by the Australians then to try and get across and cut that one off. Merv Hughes making a valiant attempt, just drags it back. And pick up 3 runs. 4 runs, in fact. But that was a sloppy piece of fielding in the slips, because it didn't come up all that quickly. One would have thought that one of the slip fielders would have got across and cut it off.
Reid to Ravi Shastri.
Well, a bad misfield there. Back for 2. He'll certainly get 3. And a distinct possibility of 4. Gavaskar looking for it. And he's going for it. A good throw, just a fraction high to Reid. Gives some indication as to just how deep the straight boundaries are here at Adelaide Oval.
Oh, right through him. Knocks the off stump back, and Bruce Reid gets his 3rd wicket in Test cricket. It really has been an extremely good debut by the left armour from Western Australia.
Shastri makes 42. Perfect line there. Plays outside the line, comes back a bit, knocks the off stump over. And that's what a bowler loves to hear, those stumps going over. So Shastri, he misses out on a half century. And it's a good one to take for Australia. But still a lot of talent still to come in that Indian camp. Kapil Dev coming, Kamani, the wicketkeeper, he'll probably bat 10. But at the moment, India 6 for 273.
Hughes bowling to Kapil Dev.
If they're going to go into Test matches thinking that they're going to get a draw. Now the appeal is for hit wicket. There's a bail on the ground. Merv Hughes being told in no uncertain terms by Kapil Dev that the wind has blown the bail off. You see Hughes come in there now, and as he's about to deliver, there goes the bail at the bowler's end. That just flicks off. Right now Hughes delivers the ball, and just a fraction of a second later you'll see the bail at the keeper's end. There it goes now. The bail at the batting end goes off. Before the ball has even reached Kapil Dev, you can see now that the wicket is unmade. The bail is, in fact, just about now. It hits the ground before Kapil Dev's foot hits the ground.
He's hit that one very well, all the way along the ground. And that one's hit a seagull, and oh, yes, I think it's in trouble out there. That deflection off that seagull causing a problem for Matthews there, and he's going to get that bird off to the boundary. But he was coming up, covering the ball, and it hit the bird, and away it deflected, and Matthews had no chance at all of cutting that one off.
That's about the 3rd time that I've seen an incident like that at the Adelaide Oval. And I think it was Clive Lloyd who struck a seagull last time, and this, the seagull deflecting the ball past the hands of Greg Matthews.
That's through the gullies, down towards the boundary at 3rd man. Well, despite the fact that there are 2 of them there, that one was played right between them.
Well, how easy's that? Kapil Dev opened up the shoulders and crashed it through the covers. Well, that's the hook shot. The trap wasn't there then. I'm not too sure whether Matthews was asleep. He was up closer to the square leg umpire. The previous over, he was down deep, 5 or 6 metres inside the fence. That's the hit, as Ritchie suggested, in the air. It's over Matthews, and the off spinner gives chase.
A few runs out there. Beautiful shot. He's a good player, this fellow. He comes in down the list, but a very good player, not just against pace and medium pace, but very quick against the spinners and very, very powerful. His footwork is excellent. That's no good to Kapil Dev. Money for jam to bowl short to him. Takes full advantage of it. 6 for 332. Oh, I don't know if they're minties, but by the time they get through Gavaskar and Kapil Dev, they might feel like a Rennie or two.
Yeah, it's moments like these you need minties.
David Boon, well, you can see the benefit of a minty or two. Adds yards onto your pace.
Brings a smile to his face too. Not very often you get Booney to smile.
And very well fielded. Wouldn't have been much in that, I don't think. David Boon picked it up, threw at the stumps at the bowler's end. Gavaskar, I reckon, must have been struggling. It was a great piece of fielding from Boon. He had to go wide left. Oh, yards. And, in fact, if he'd thrown to Ray Bright instead of at the stumps, then Gavaskar still would have been gone.
That's well placed and beautifully fielded. Greg Matthews at covers there. Brilliant performance in the covers.
Superb piece of fielding. That looked like it was 4 runs. Beautiful shot from Kapil Dev. He thought it was through, but a magnificent save from Matthews. It was past him.
A shout from Ray Bright, and he's got him. That was the quicker one, right on line. And Kapil Dev attempting to sweep, misses, and he's given out LBW by umpire Crafter.
And I think that dismissal just highlighting how important it is to have good fieldsmen in your side. Kapil Dev a little frustrated with those last couple of balls, hitting across the line, but early on in the over you may remember that beautiful shot that he hit, and Greg Matthews pulled it back. It should have been 4 runs, but it wasn't. And then Kapil Dev just taking a risk, trying to put it away again, out LBW. An uncharacteristic shot from him, and India now 7 for 333.
That's the attendances for the 4 days. In total, 28,382. Average of just over 7,000 per day. That's a good shot, beautifully placed. Realising that the boundary's pretty short on that side, Gavaskar knew that all he had to do was find the gap, and with reasonable timing there was a boundary.
It's in the end, he's dropped him. Well, Hooks has been waiting there all day for that opportunity, and that one went flying across to his right. Out went the right hand, which is not his best hand. He's, of course, a left-hander. He got his hand to it and deflected it away down towards third man, so that's an opportunity lost.
Bruce Reid now comes in to Binny.
One played nicely square of the wicket on the offside. That'll run down towards the boundary. It's well played by Roger Binny. Takes him into double figures.
And there's 4 more. Doesn't do to get offline or off length for this little man Gavaskar. Matthews to Binny.
Well flighted once again by Matthews. Binny is pretty keen to play that sweep. And there's the 50 partnership for this pair. and they've also taken India ahead by 3 runs.
So one could say that's a race against the clock tonight for the Indian opener. I think he'll play it as it comes. He won't be too concerned about it.
That's a good shot, but well saved. Alan Border at cover point.
And that shot could have taken him to 98. They've got past Alan Border. He's going onto that back foot, and he's shown that inclination to hit it in front of point. And Border going across to his right, cut it off.
I'm afraid it's going to take a great deal of expertise and some astonishing cricket to produce anything but a draw on the final day of this Adelaide Test match. Today, India at the close of play, 10 runs ahead of Australia. Australia made 381. India still 3 wickets in hand, and Binny 34 and Gavaskar 94 were showing every sign tonight of going on tomorrow to a sizable total. The men out today: Azharuddin 17, Amarnath 37, Shastri 42 and Kapil Dev a very bright 38. 7 for 391, and the Australian bowlers, outstanding was Bruce Reid of Western Australia in his first test, 42 overs, 20 maidens, 3 for 80, and he thoroughly deserved those figures. Could have been even better actually, because Hooks dropped that chance of him late in the day. 2 wickets to McDermott, 1 to Hughes and 1 to Ray Bright. So I'm afraid it is destined that these 2 teams will go to Melbourne with the series still all square. There's not much they can do about it because they lost so much time due to rain on the 2 days, and it looks tomorrow as though it's going to be some batting practice for the Australians, if, that is, they're able to get the Indians out. Good night. A dispiriting start, I'm afraid, to the final day of the first Test match, Australia and India at the Adelaide Oval. 29 minutes lost through rain after just a couple of balls had been bowled, and then another 59, which left just a short time for the players before lunch, once umpires Crafter and Randall had made their decision to go back on the field. The overnight score: India 7 for 391, had a 10-run lead over Australia. Gavaskar 6 away from his century, Binny on 34, and still to come Kirmani and Shivlal Yadav. The bowling figures for Australia when they walked onto the field today: McDermott had 2 wickets, Reid 3, and Hughes had also bowled very well. We pick up play now with the first ball of the 4th over, and your commentator is Ian Chappell.
Binny on 34, Gavaskar just 1 boundary away from a 31st Test century, facing Craig McDermott. And there it is. He's picked it off his toes beautifully on the onside, and that's rather appropriate that he should bring up his century with a shot that he plays so well and so often.
Well, you're watching history being made. Sir Donald Bradman wasn't here yesterday to watch the man that surpassed his 29 Test match hundreds. It's now 31 Test match hundreds to Sunil Gavaskar. He's been there for a long time, 356 minutes yesterday. Retired hurt on 39 at the end of the second night, and there it is, a magical moment.
And a typical shot that brought up his 100, and a typical reaction from Gavaskar after making that 100. Just have a look at this. That's exactly what he did after completing his century. 6 centuries now against Australia in Test matches. His best performance being against the West Indies, 13 against them, and in fact he made his first Test century against the West Indies. It's been almost 2 years since he made his last Test century. And a tremendous shot. You really cannot afford to bowl on those pads. Even on the with the slow outfield, he's still got it away. Well, it almost looked like it was into the fence, but apparently Greg Matthews was able to drag it back. Umpire's just checking with Matthews, and he's quite happy that the young man saved it. So the 400 comes up for India.
Yes, we see again another example of an Australian fieldsman going to ground. The baseball slide, hooks the feet around it, missed the ball and scooped it back with his left hand.
In the air and bouncing just short of Merv Hughes, getting past him. I think Hughes there for a moment thought that he had a chance of taking the catch. He moved forward in an attempt to do so, and the ball got away from him. 2 to Binny, India 7 for 403. And a good shot straight down the ground. Once again, it's Matthews who's got the chase. This time he'll pull it back well inside the boundary. Same result, they get 3. Gavaskar 106. Binny on 37. India have taken their overnight score from 391 to 407. But 88 minutes play has been lost to rain. And that's close. Binny could be LBW to McDermott more easily than a batsman who is playing forward. We talked earlier about the problems that Craig McDermott is going to have.
That one's a bit high, but huge angle. Let's have a look here just how high that one does hit him. Well, the ball's on the up. It's hit him almost about the line of the bails, and plus the angle. The umpire's not interested.
And an appeal off the glove, that one. And a good take there to Wayne Phillips. Binny has been attempting to hook McDermott. He's got the glove a couple of times. This time it carried through to the keeper, and Binny is on his way.
Yes, Binny has been in a little early. He just followed that one. In fact, helped it around the easiest of catches to Phillips. Phillips picks up his 4th. Steve Randall signals the end. Roger Binny caught Phillips, bowled McDermott for 38.
Reed to Gavaskar.
Nicely played, straight down the ground. Effortless shot by Gavaskar. He certainly hasn't held back today and will pick up 4 runs. Kamani just cantering through for that 4th run.
Well, that's well bowled. Once again, that immaculate line that Bruce Reid has adopted throughout this test match, causing problems for the batsman.
And just moved fractionally off the wicket.
Bruce Reid to Kimani.
In the air and well caught. That's good catch, David Boon. Syed Kamani's not going, but I thought he caught that quite comfortably. He dived away to his right. Kamani stayed there, and at the end of the day, the umpire down that end, that's umpire Croft, had to give him out. Good catch, David Boon.
And well bowled by Bruce Reid, picking up his 4th wicket. Kamani defending it off the chest, and David Boon coming forward, got the fingers just underneath it. For a moment, Kamani thought that it may have just touched the ground. Don't think David Boon was quite sure either, so it was left to the umpire, but Bruce Reid picking up his 4th wicket with a well-pitched short delivery. So Kamani out for 7, caught Boon, bowl Reid, and India now 9 for 426. Kamani defending it off the body, hit right up near the splice, hung in the air for a while. As Boon comes forward, had to get the fingers right underneath it, and I'm certain that David Boon didn't know whether he caught that or not, but you'd have to give it out. Looked as though he had both fingers just underneath it.
Yadav about to take his guard, and Ritchie was just mentioning that milestone passed by Gavaskar, his 31st century, which incidentally was the 100th century in test matches on this Adelaide Oval. And Yadav getting that away down past the point area. Long chase there for Marsh, and Yadav quite happy with the 2 runs that come from that stroke.
That's beautiful shot again. He loves it in that area. Just short of a length. And the face of the bat closed. Lovely timing. And tremendous force and placement behind that lovely shot. Once again, well played. That was right up in the slot again and hit straight down the ground.
And Gavaskar still after the runs. He was very quick to run between wickets then. McDermott's been taken off at the River Torrens or southern end. His figures show 46 overs, 30 maidens, 3 for 130, and Hughes is back on. 1 for 101 off 30 overs.
And just short. Well, he blasted that one into the offside field, and once again Boon trying to dive forward and pick one up just before it hits the turf. On this occasion he couldn't do that because it didn't quite carry.
Well, Boon there, not quite able to get to it. That would have been the second good catch if he had that he's pulled off this morning. Hughes coming close to the stumps on this occasion, pitching up outside the off stump, good line, over pitch, driven, and Boon scrambling forward, unable to get a hand underneath it.
That's nicely played for a number 11. No trouble, straight down the ground. McDermott chasing it, and Yadav will come back for the third. 6 runs from that over. They're now 9 for 448.
So Merv Hughes and Reid, debuts in Test cricket. They really have had a pretty solid workout. Now been bowling on 4 successive days. Came to the crease towards the end of the second day.
In the air, and it clears the covers. Both Jeff Marsh and Greg Ritchie looked at one another in disgust and disbelief as that ball cleared the covers and the Indian 450 comes up. That's a good shot, away on the onside. As soon as Hughes has strayed onto the leg stump, Greg Matthews, don't go in head first. I don't mind it so much when he goes in feet first, but not head first. So boundary there to Yadav.
Yes, and the stupid part about it is that, you know, with nothing hanging on this Test match, to have broken a collarbone or something like that, it's hardly worth the effort.
Just short of Craig McDermott on this occasion at mid-on. So Merv Hughes not having a lot of luck. Plenty of deliveries being hit in the air, but they're all landing just short of the fieldsman. Straight drive from Gavaskar. He's played that shot a few times, and he goes back for 3. That takes him to 129, his highest score in Test cricket in Australia. That's a good shot from Gavaskar. Beautiful placement. And now that Matthews has dived, it's certain to get to the boundary. Very well played cover drive.
Bruce Reid comes in now, and he's bowling to Shivlal Yadav.
You know, well, there's a cover drive. That one's away. He's opened up the shoulder blades, Yadav, and that's going into the boundary. That's 4 runs. And the end of the over, India 9 for 469.
And the 50 partnership comes up for India. First time that that's ever occurred in Test matches between the two countries. But Merv Hughes did really give him the glare then, as he worked that one in the air, very square of the wicket. Greg Matthews was just behind square leg, but it went away safely for a couple of runs. So once again, another good partnership. 50 off 113 balls. Good time too, just 94 minutes.
57 runs have been added by Gavaskar and Yadav. Yadav giving Gavaskar every chance to chalk up his 9,000 runs in Test cricket. He needs 160. So he's 19 short at the moment. And Gavaskar decides to go over the top quite safely against Greg Matthews with no one at deep mid-wicket. And he creeps 4 runs closer.
And just 5 runs away from a century and a half. One of the few times that we've seen him hit the ball in the air. Saw him cut one early on Saturday evening. But on that occasion, a perfectly safe shot. And straight away, David Boon being sent out there by Alan Border, out into the deep.
And that's beautifully placed. Matthews slightly over pitching and the ball drifting away on the offside. And that absolutely wraps into the advertising hoarding there, taking Gavaskar to 149.
So shots on both sides of the wicket. 15 boundaries now.
And there's the 150. Magnificent performance from the former Indian captain and the highest run getter ever in Test cricket. His first 150 in a Test match in Australia. That's a good shot. Beautiful shot there from Gavaskar. The placement was absolutely perfect. And the 500 comes up for India in fine style.
Sunil Gavaskar takes strike now. Ray Bright is the bowler.
Well, will he make it 9,000?
There it is. That's his 9,000th run. The field is set back. The Australians may not have been too concerned with the statistic, but a lot of people around this ground know, because he's getting a round of applause. First man in history to reach 9,000 runs. Actually, he was the first to reach 8,115 as well. It's a rather nasty little statistic coming up too, Max. The partnership here at the moment is 86, not far away from the 100 mark. And New Zealand had a century partnership for the last wicket against Australia in Sydney. If you had 2 of those, I think it'd be the first time ever against the same side in the one season. Memory tells me that that hasn't happened before. Different circumstances, the 2 matches. It's 9 for 514. Hooks to Shivlal Yadav. And that could be it. The old-fashioned full toss. So often a successful delivery. Arthur Maley used to say that. And it's done the trick here. Hooks, where all the other bowlers have failed, has given it the high floated fully. And India out for 520. Shivlal Yadav caught Hughes, bowled Hooks.
Yes, 2 runs short of his highest score. He goes for 41, and that almost popped out. Big Merv, the moustache would have been bristling. He can smile now, but had that popped out, would have been a heads hung low by the Australians. So Yadav's out. The Indian innings is all over for 520, and Gavaskar's not out for 166. A great innings by a truly great player, a legend in his own lifetime, Sunil Gavaskar.
That was a fine performance from the Indians. It's the sort of thing that happens with that last wicket partnership when a game is sliding away to a draw. But full marks to Shivlal Yadav for the way he batted. A very, very good-looking number 11. 520 for India, 166 not out to Sunil Gavaskar. The batsmen out today, Binny for 38, Kirmani for 7, and Shivlal Yadav for 41. That last wicket partnership, 94 in 156 minutes from 38 overs. Bowling figures for Australia. McDermott 3 for 131, Hughes 1 for 123, Reid 4 for 113, Bright 1 for 80, Matthews no wicket for 60, and Hooks 1 wicket for 4, his first ever wicket in Test cricket. When the Australians came out again, thankfully Wayne Phillips wasn't consigned to the centre of the ground. He'd been out there for some 800 minutes keeping wickets, so Alan Border sent out David Boon and Jeff Marsh, who has opened for Western Australia in times past. But there was a little discussion between David Boon and Kapil Dev. Little chat there because David Boon thought that after 5 overs had been bowled in the Australian second innings and 5:30 had been reached, that it was time to go off. But it needs the agreement of both captains. In this case, Boon was acting for Border, and Kapil Dev decided that he'd like to see a little bit of practice for his bowlers out there, so they stayed on for another 3 overs, and the Australian batting card at the end of the match was Boon not out 11, Marsh not out 2, 4 extras, no wicket for 17, and the bowling figures for India: Kapil Dev none for 3, Chetan Sharma no wicket for 9, they shared the new ball, Shivlal Yadav none for 2, and Ravi Shastri no wicket for no run. Man of the match was Kapil Dev, deservedly so, even though there were some splendid performances from Gavaskar, from David Boon and from Greg Ritchie. Kapil Dev's effort in taking those 8 wickets and breaking the back of the Australian innings and then making runs as well at a good time for India was certainly worthy of the Man of the Match award. The next television is tomorrow, McDonald's Cup. That's in Sydney, South Australia against New South Wales. We look forward to having you with us then. And for the second Test match, which begins on Boxing Day in Melbourne, that's Australia against India. For the moment, it's good night.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.